Okay, we're here at the polling place in the community center, and this is the day before election. This is Monday, and this is Amanda from the clerk's office down at City Hall. And why don't you walk us through, for people who are first-time voters or people who vote all the time and just want a refresher on how things work.
Well, fantastic. As you come in, you should come into the gym, and we will have greeters. In fact, our famous Ron Fruit is going to be one of our greeters all day.
Well, good.
So to chat with him. And then over here we have our Badger books where you're going to check in. You should bring your ID with you, and if you haven't registered yet, you can register the day of, but you'll have to have proof of residence. So once there is one of these machines open, you'll go up to that. They will ask for you to say your name and your address, and then they'll scan your ID, whether it's a driver's license or your Wisconsin ID.
Okay.
And then if you need to register, you can at that point. Once they find you and you are a registered voter, they're going to give you a receipt that will print out from these little boxes here, and then you're going to proceed to step 2.
Now, are these hooked up, ready to go?
They're hooked up, but we don't have the modem to them. They're actually not connected to the internet unless we're doing like a called EDRs or election day registration. Then we double check with our DMV records to make sure that they are qualified voter, and so none of this can be accessed by anybody outside.
That's important for people to know, that people sometimes say, well, they got in and hacked into
Nope,
it.
and there's no modem connected to it tonight, and while we're on it, it's a secured network. It's not connecting to the internet unless we're doing that. Otherwise, so we loaded everybody's been registering and doing a bunch of, registering to vote in our office the last several weeks, months, and so that's loaded on the main memory of that computer, and so we're drawing from that book, the same as back in the day where they had the book.
Yep.
And you'd sign your name.
Now, if this was ready to go, I could give you my name and address, and it would state that I already voted.
Yes, so you can, if you have done an absentee ballot, you technically could vote again, but it would only count one. So if we have not, you couldn't vote again, I shouldn't say it like that. But so this table is going to be, our chief inspectors are going to be processing our absentee ballots. They check them in just like you would if you were here registering that or checking in to vote that day. And then they look through them, make sure everything looks good, they're on our list, and then they actually will process the ballot just like as if you were here. So we have no ballots that have been cast. So far, they don't cast until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, even the ones that are in the envelopes in our office locked up.
Right.
So then, so they will be processing those. Now, if you did do a mail-in ballot and you wanted to come and vote and we have not processed that, then that would be possible, but it's really, you've cast your ballot, we process it here just as if you're here, so
Right.
But if somebody did try to do that, it would already, when they go in, they'd say, nope, that person has already voted, I'm sorry.
Right, good. And so this is where it all starts, and then where do they proceed from here?
So then step 2, and I gotta go get my signs for step 2. There will be ballot inspectors all along here, and so then you will go to your aldermanic district and you will present that receipt that you received at the Badger books, and they will take it and then make sure that you're registered, and then 2 of our ballot inspectors will sign your ballot, and then you go on to step 3. Very simple.
Step 3 is you go
ahead and fill out your ballot. We have open and closed areas. We have areas for handicap, or if you need a place to sit, or we'll have chairs in 2 of them. If you're in a wheelchair, it's handicap accessible.
So these are still paper ballots here?
They are paper ballots.
Okay. At one time, did they have the...
I believe they did. That was before my time.
Okay.
There was the electronic. So we do have tabulators. They're locked up right now. And we did a public test where there was actually a pre-let test and then a public test to make sure that those are counting correctly. And that's where then once you cast your ballot or you have your ballot filled out, you'll put it through the tabulator, you'll wait for the ding, and then you get a sticker and you're all done.
Do you know how many ballots, well, are they down at City Hall right now?
They're down
like
at,
the
so
ones
they're
I
locked
would
up.
have done.
Yep,
How many do you have, do you think?
775
775 that voted
absentee.
early.
Yep.
And do you know how many you received in the mail, or is that included in that?
That would be how, so we had in-person absentee.
That's
and,
what I meant,
yeah,
in-person.
I can't remember how many we had off the top of my head. I did have that number at one point. It was a lot. It was like 30 to 50 each day that we were open and doing in-person absentee.
Okay, so that's, I bet that's a record.
So because of 2020 being COVID
Mm-hmm.
restrictions, there was more absentee ballots cast that year, but this is definitely, I think, a record for people voting absentee.
And they don't open them and start counting them until tomorrow.
Yep.
And there's gonna be someone downtown doing that down at City Hall?
Nope, they'll be right here.
Oh,
So we're
they're
gonna
brought
transport
here.
all of the ballots here tomorrow. The ones that are filled out in the envelopes and the ones that have not been filled out yet, they're locked up in City Hall in our clerk's office, actually behind multiple doors, so we make sure that those are safe. And then in the morning, we will go down, pick those up, and bring them here for our chief inspectors to process.
How are they transported?
Just in a car.
Okay.
Probably my terrible minivan.
Okay, they're in tubs and such?
Yep, yep.
Carefully guarded.
Yes, we have been very careful to guard them, make sure that we've gone over them multiple times individually to make sure that we have everything done properly.
And let's see, are there people, I think we mentioned, or you mentioned before we started, that there are people who are, in their 40s or whatever, who have never voted before?
We've had a large number of people who say they've never voted before that are registering for the first time. Also people who say they haven't voted for a long time who are registering again.
Okay, well, good.
Yes.
And they get a sticker, and they voted.
You do get a sticker. You don't get a sticker unless you vote, and that is sometimes the coolest part, other than being part of the democracy.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, thank you. That answered a lot of my questions. Okay, come and vote tomorrow here.